He would not give me a permit for this day, for this small press conference. I could not get a permit. So forgive me for having to yell. We are gathered here to honor our war dead. 9/11 is a day of mourning. It is not a day of service. It is not a day of, this kumbaya nonsense. It's a day of mourning when war came to America. And we called this press conference mainly to call attention to what's happening at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum and also across the world. I can't help it, I don't have a microphone. I wasn't allowed a microphone. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum is costing upwards of $700 million at a cost of $1 million a week. They are housing the human remains of the unidentified victims of the 9/11 attacks without the permission of the 9/11 families. They will be charging $25 to the 9/11 families to go 7 stories under to see the human remains. It's a circus, it's a sideshow, and it's reprehensible. The iconic flag, if you recall, the firemen, remember the firemen raising the iconic flag, was deemed too rah-rah American for the museum. There are more flags behind me than will be at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. This is an outrage. When Michael Chulan, who's the creative director of the 9/11 Memorial, was questioned about it, he said it was too patriotic. He was hired by Alice Greenwald, who, by the way, is making $350,000 a year. Your taxpayer dollars at work. We call for a tomb of the unknown victim. Much like there's a tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington, there should be a tomb of the unknown victim at street level, not 7 stories down in a grave. It's wrong. We're still finding human remains at Ground Zero. Just a couple months ago, they found part of the plane by the proposed Ground Zero mosque location. People need to speak out. People don't know what's going on. We need to be vigilant. People don't understand what's happening in the Middle East. People don't know what's happening in Egypt. People don't know what's happening in Libya because the jihadic doctrine is being scrubbed from our counterterrorism materials, from our training materials. People need to speak out. So today we've assembled a group of truth tellers. We have Alan Devona, who is a first responder. I'd like him to speak first. We have Ashraf Ramallah, who's president of Voice of the Cops, to address the persecution of Christians in Egypt and Nigeria and Syria and why that's happening and why the media is completely silent on it. It's a crime. It's a complicity in a crime. That's a humanitarian crisis. And Robert Spencer, my colleague and partner at AFDI, will be speaking as well. So I'd like to start off with having Alan Devona make some remarks to here today.